the last thought in my head is that a brand new device.
Bro, the Galaxy Note did that.
Go watch that Persona Iceberg you found some weeks ago.
Oh, you're right. Ecchi Spaghetti, this is why you're so smart.
Videos, they always start with them saying how they're late to the trend. So I'm going to continue that trend by saying yes, I'm late to the trend. I'm sure most of you know how these work, but for those who don't, I'll explain it fast. Basically, an iceberg is a collection of community theories, trivia, urban legends, and
Bro, yo, they refunded my money. Yo, they refunded this shit so fast. They said it was going to take 1 to 2 billing cycles. PayPal already hit me up like, yo, the money's back in your account. Mad fast, bro.
more separated into blocks.
That was so
and
fast.
And the deeper we go in the iceberg, the more obscure
You know what, Sony?
or dark the entries are supposed to get. So the stuff in the top blocks you will probably know or heard of, the stuff in the bottom blocks, hopefully less so. Today I'll be explaining this iceberg that I made with the help of some good friends. A lot of the entries will be spoilers for that respective game, though I'll provide a warning on screen with Elizabeth before I spoil.
That's so sad, man. I wanted that game to be good, man. I was gonna put so much hours into that Battlefield game. Might as well just re-download Battlefield 1 and just play by myself.
If you want to skip certain entries. So without further ado, let's begin. Phantom Thief Hifumi. This refers to how the original design of Hifumi was going to be used for another female member of the Phantom Thieves who was scrapped. However,
that would have been fire, bro. Hifumi being a Phantom Thief would have been so A1.
It is a very widespread misconception that Hifumi herself was going to be a Phantom Thief, but this was actually never going to be the case.
Huh?
Hifumi, the shogi player, with her current character and personality, was never considered as a Phantom Thief. An older version of her overall design was originally going to be used for a completely different character, with a completely different backstory and personality that would serve as another, more radical strategist for the Phantom Thieves alongside Makoto. But eventually the character traits of this character were also just given to Makoto. They then decided to reuse the design of that cancelled character when making Confidants, and made a completely separate character who would become Hifumi. So someone that would have looked like Hifumi was planned as a Phantom Thief, but never Hifumi herself. Idol Nanako. In Persona 4 Dancing, Nanako meets up with Konami, an idol mentioned in—
Yo, Konami, this character in Persona 4 Dancing, this girl had the most jiggle physic in her titties for like no reason. Every time her songs popped up and she hit a little one of these, them shits was like this, bro. Like, I felt like Mr. Miyagi fucking... Bro, yo, them shits was everywhere.
In Persona 4,
I was looking respectfully.
As a rival to Rise, and joins her idol group, Konami and Kitchen. Nanako herself and their one-time performance are a huge hit, and so there's a lot of theories that we could potentially see Nanako follow in Rise and Konami's footsteps as a celebrity and idol once she grows up to be a teenager as well. Considering how many Persona characters are celebrities, it wouldn't be too far-fetched in my opinion. Mr. Ono and Miss Sofu. This refers to how the two most passionate history teachers from Persona 3 and 4 are actually related. Probably. During a lecture in Persona 4, Miss Sofu mentions having a brother obsessed with the samurai, which is Mr. Ono's defining trait. Considering how they're so similar in their passion, wearing hats from their favorite time periods, and both being teachers, it's very probable that she's talking about Ono and that they're siblings.
That's cool.
Chihaya is the P3 fortune teller. This is just a theory that Chihaya is the fortune teller in Club Escapade, since they're both really good fortune tellers that predict that main character's unfortunate futures. There's no real evidence to it as far as I'm aware, just a fun theory.
Oh, okay.
Shinji alternate ending. If you max Shinji in the FemC route, you can actually prevent his death.
Really?
And he'll stay at the hospital for the rest of the game instead.
I remember people were telling me that. Shit with the Shinji shit. And I never liked Shinji. I felt like Shinji smelled like you've ever been to a dog park and like the smell of wet dog? I felt like Shinji smelled like wet dog.
Additionally, if you complete this in New Game Plus, you can actually choose to spend your final moments with him. How his survival would change the events of the Answer and beyond is interesting to think about, and it's something we'll actually discuss later on in this iceberg. Nanako is the killer.
Yo!
This is a joke theory perpetuated throughout.
Whoa! That would have been crazy! This game would have been a 20 out of 10. That would have been the craziest twist if like, towards the end, I'm like, who the fuck is this? She's just like,
I didn't want you to find out like this.
fucking, you see Dojima, no, pop! You just hear a gun pop. I run downstairs, it's fucking Nanako with a blicky.
Big bro. I didn't know it was gonna end like this.
So I'd have been like, yo! I should have let your bitch ass die in the hospital, mama huevazo.
Throughout the community, that Nanako, seeking vengeance for the random loss of her mother, decides to invoke that same random chaos in Inaba by committing the murders. It's obviously not true, though there are some surprisingly in-depth joke theories about it that are pretty entertaining to read out there.
Joke theories.
Chidori event. If you talk with Junpei on certain nights in November and answer him in a way that encourages him to not give up on his relationship with Chidori, Chidori will come back to life in January, losing her persona powers, but additionally losing all the trauma the Korijo group and the Dark Hour had dealt to her.
Oh yeah.
She forgets Junpei as well, but it's a neat little happy ending for her, and they apparently still get together by Arena. Next skip. Starting Tanaka's social...
They get together in Arena? Oh shit, I didn't know that. They get back together in Arena?
Link on the final day of Persona 3 allows you to completely skip the events of the final day, including the multiple floors you have to climb and the final bosses Strega and Nyx.
Wait, what?
It just automatically skips to the next day, March 3rd.
Wait, whoa, rewind that. Wait, what he said? Apparently still together by Arena? Wait, what?
Apparently still get together by Arena. Nyx skip.
You can skip Nyx? It's a glitch?
Starting Tanaka's social link on the final day of Persona 3 allows you to completely skip the events of the final day.
No. So on the final day, if you start Tanaka's shit, it skips Nyx? So then what the fuck happens? Tanaka is Nyx. It's a major speedrunning exploit.
Including the multiple floors you have to climb, and the final bosses Strega and Nyx.
So you don't even have to fight Strega, Nyx, or go up the frickin' floors.
It just automatically skips to the next day, March 3rd. Sudou.
So then what happens? Do you just... Okay, spoiler alert, chat. If you're watching this, you're gonna get spoiled. So do you just end up dying on the roof? But that sounds so stupid. We didn't do anything. So we literally... So you know what? Long story short, Tanaka gave us COVID. That's what basically happened. Basically. Tanaka gave us COVID. March 3rd happens. Yo, I'm feeling a little sleepy. And that's it. Tanaka killed us. Death by brokenness. Yo, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Is the Reaper.
Sudou.
This is a theory that Tatsuya Sudou from Persona 2 is the Reaper seen in the subsequent Persona games.
Oh, I don't know that.
Somehow cursed to wander and torture others for his crimes.
Who the hell is Sudou?
As this one Reddit post points out, they kinda do look vaguely similar. Clown Kasumi and Femc Kasumi. The first refers to how leftover code suggests Kasumi's original codename was Clown.
Clown?
That would have been pretty funny, but also insulting. And the second refers to the deep speculation throughout the community during the early stages of Royal's announcement in March of 2019. Before Kasumi had even gotten a name, where there was hope she was a femc. This is a tiny theory that Chie becomes a big fan of Muses, particularly its member Lisa.
I don't know who the fuck that is. She's from P2. For those unaware, everybody's unaware. What the fuck is this? Shop, wait, what? Retro. Welcome. Shop around by moving left or right. Retro speaking to women be like, what, is that me? This little guy? That's me? Bro, how long did it take you to edit this? This shit probably took, like, all the processing power of your cell phone, dude. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Silverman, someone who passionately loves Kung Fu, and due to that admiration, goes on to love Kung Fu herself.
What the fuck? Oh, just below. We're going deeper. Wait, what did they say about Chie? I didn't even hear what the fuck they said about Chie.
Particularly its member. This is a tiny theory that Chie becomes a big
inspired
fan
by
of
Lisa?
uses. Particularly its member Lisa Silverman, someone who passionately loves Kung Fu, and due to that admiration, goes on to love Kung Fu herself.
Okay. Wait, Pokemon Go Ed Sheeran? Wait, Squirtle with the sunglasses is coming back? Ed Sheeran. You know what I hate about the Pokemon Go, the Pokemon Go fandom? Every time Pokemon Go posts something, there's some bitch ass motherfucker in the comments every time that says, where's Cowboy Hat Caterpie, where's Kecleon, and where's I think Poliwhirl with some shit. They ask for the same thing in every. If I was Pokemon Go, I would have banned them a long time ago. Plus, why are people fiending for Kecleon in Pokemon Go? It's 90% gonna be a useless Pokemon. They just want the Pokemon just to have it. Like, y'all fiending for shitty Pokemon.
Persona X Detective Naoto. This is a novel taking place a year after Persona 4, focused on Naoto.
What?
As she embarks to solve another murder mystery alongside Sosei, or Susei, I don't know, who is an anti-shadow weapon similar to Aegis. This novel was pretty unpopular. I've never read it, but many say they dislike it for apparently ruining Naoto's character development, and for the other poor new characters. I see a lot of people claim it's not canon because they don't like it, and because there's some arena overlap, though as far as I've found there's nothing concrete to prove that, though I'd be happy to be proven wrong. Concept art. Characters went through numerous different designs throughout development. Some of the ones I find the most intriguing are the super pretty boy Yusuke with the long hair, Kanji looking like an 80s Yu Narukami, Rise looking like Saki, and Naoto looking like the other detective prince, Akechi. Koromaru.
Yeah,
cut
Naoto
from
looked
Dancing.
just like Akechi.
There's leftover code referencing unlocking Koromaru in Persona 3 Dancing, indicating that at one point he may have been considered as a playable character. He presumably was cut fairly early on though, as not much code remains referencing him, and he lacks a finalized icon that every other character has for the menus in-game. Josei's Allegiance. Josei is a pretty mysterious new character.
Yo, we still don't know shit about Josei. No, it's Jose. Jose. We don't know shit about this egghead bitch. He almost killed me when we did the secret boss battle. And I still fucked him up. First try, bro.
Exclusive to Persona 5 Royal as of now. His motives are still sort of unclear, and have been the basis for many theories. Presumably he's linked to the Velvet Room somehow. He has a similar hair color to the attendants, along with the signature yellow eyes. Many theories take it a step further though, and connect him not only to the Velvet Room, but to Philemon directly. One of my personal favorite theories points out how he gives you a letter of royalty for completing the Thieves' Den, allowing you to summon personas for free. As the theory points out, only someone who is particularly powerful in the Velvet Room, along with being considered royalty, would be able to grant this, and nobody but Philemon fits that bill best. Elizabeth and Mementos. So, major Persona 3 spoilers, but Elizabeth left the Velvet Room after 3 to try to find a way to save Makoto from being the Seal. Erebus is humanity's darkest emotions, and wants to reunite with Nyx, who will kill everyone. So Makoto serves as a seal to prevent Erebus from reuniting with Nyx and causing the fall. This theory states that through the use of Mementos, Elizabeth could have the Phantom Thieves change everyone's hearts to not subconsciously wish for death, so that Erebus will no longer try to reunite with Nyx, and Makoto wouldn't be needed as the seal and could be freed. Some of these theories also go on to say that Josei is actually working for Elizabeth directly to research this very possibility, and that's why he's in Mementos gathering information. Persona 3 Trinity Soul. This is an anime taking place in 2019, 10 years after the events of Persona 3, revolving around 3 Persona-using brothers living in Ayanagi City, where people are being found dead with their bodies mysteriously inside out. Much like Detective Naoto, this anime had a lot of questionable story decisions, such as people losing their personas with age, and that makes many question its canonicity. Unfortunately though, much like Detective Naoto, there is nothing concrete that I've found declaring it as non-canon. just a lot of pissed off fans saying it is.
What?
On in Yusuke's room. We know from Persona 5 that Yusuke found a large amount of inspiration upon first seeing An. He was captivated by her beauty. But Persona 5 dancing takes it to an even creepier level. In this game, you can visit everybody's rooms. And upon getting to visit Yusuke's room, you can see it's filled to the brim with drawings of An in numerous different artistic styles. This game takes place after the events of Persona 5 2, meaning Yusuke had known An for almost a year by that point. Just a tad weird in my opinion, but I guess it's to be expected for this dude.
No,
Killer
maybe he was
Dojima.
just, maybe he just
According
thinks she's
to dev
pretty.
interviews, the killer of Persona 4 was changed midway through development, and that at one point, Dojima himself was considered. I don't even know how that would work, but it would certainly be a twist. Probably many story details were different, but thinking about Dojima in his current state as the killer is really interesting. Perhaps he was motivated through the grief of losing his wife? Who knows? Doubt
Dojima.
confidants. For those of you who have only played 5, in the earlier games, social links, aka confidants, could get mad at you and not be able to rank up. This was called a reverse, or at worst, broken social link. This was often due.
I'll never forget the first time I got a reverse. That shit tripped me up so hard, man. I think it was when Chihiro, was it Chihiro? Her bitch ass. She was like, "Yo, I had a wet dream about you, man. My guts was all watery. I was a waterfall down there." So the option was like, give her a hug or give her a kiss. She basically lets me know, yo, my pussy's wet and I want it. So I said, fuck it. I'm going in for the kiss. Second I hit go for the kiss, she was like, what type of girl you think I am? The card fucking said, I was like, wait, what? I was like, nah, you sending mixed signals. I'm about to fight you.
Due to making the wrong choice when hanging out, or by ignoring the person, requiring a day or more to fix so that you can continue ranking them up.
Mixed
There's a lot
signals
of
ass.
leftover assets indicating that this was going to return in Persona 5.
I heard that
A lot
too.
of it is translated, and the art for it on the menus is there. But
It's
at some
there.
point, presumably a bit further into development, it was cut.
They shouldn't have
Joker
cut
in
it.
Persona 4
They should have kept that shit as an option. That would have been fire.
Arena. Leftover code seems to suggest that Joker was at one point considered as a playable character in Arena Ultimax.
Really?
This was such an early version of him though, that his persona was still going to be Mephistopheles, who also has leftover code, and in case you weren't aware, was originally going to be his persona before they went with Arsene.
Really?
Teddy is a part of Amino Sagiri. This refers to the theories that Teddy is not just a simple shadow as he claims, but an important shadow that is directly a part of Amino or Izanami, similar to Marie. The biggest point of interest in this theory is Shadow Teddy, who has the colorful rainbow eyes that Amino and Marie also
Yes.
have, along with Shadow Teddy's
Bro,
dialogue.
this was nightmare fuel for me. When I first played Persona 4 and I went up against this version of Teddy, I thought that shit was so creepy.
Being particularly dark and taunting, seemingly hinting at a bigger threat to come that will destroy them all. More than likely Amino, who this theory claims he's a part of. I honestly kinda subscribe to this theory. It makes sense and fits in my opinion. Shinji and Koromaru's second personas. So most persona characters in 3 to 5 eventually get a second persona in each game. In some cases, even a third. Unfortunately for these two, they never awaken to a second persona. But in Persona Q and Q2, everyone gets a second persona and it's a noticeable upgrade. So you may be wondering, what about these two then? What do they get? Well, they actually do get a second persona, but it's just a powered up version of the original. In Persona Q, they each ask Margaret to let them keep their original, since they have their reasons to be attached to them. And she says that this is possible, and grants them their upgraded version instead.
Oh, okay.
Unused Western Eternal Punishment extras.
Hmm?
There was some extra content that could be unlocked by having an Innocent Sin save file when playing Eternal Punishment on the original PlayStation. But none
Huh?
of this was brought over to the West or unlockable, since Innocent Sin was never released on PlayStation for the West. So this remained a Japanese exclusive.
Oh shit, we getting deep in the mementos.
Bathing Chie Flash Game. Long ago to promote Persona 4, Atlus made a strange flash game where you could sneakily peek at an underdressed Chie, and it's pretty much about as weird as it sounds. You would get beat up if you got caught, but apparently you could also get caught and have them be cool with it. I don't want to show any of it for obvious reasons, but yeah, look it up at your own risk. Persona 3 Portable Velvet Blue. This is a novel focusing on Elizabeth, showcasing the relationship she has with both Theodore and Margaret, and interestingly enough, Femc also. Now if that seems as intriguing to you as it did to me, I'm sorry to ruin your hype, but unfortunately it was never translated into English. Copies are pretty easy to come by though, being only like $40 on eBay. So, if you speak Japanese and would like to do the whole world a favor, maybe consider trying to translate part of it or sharing more details about it if you've read it. Outside of this tiny blurb on the wiki, I can find almost no extra information on it. Seeing as it focuses on the mysterious Velvet Room attendants, I imagine there must be some interesting details hidden in there.
Of course.
Persona 3 Shadow Cry. Similar to our previous entry, this is a novel taking place the day after the August full moon battle, where Strega trapped C's in the underground base. This book focuses on the perspective of Strega during this time in the game,
Fun
but is
fact, we never got the PS1 Innocent Sin but got the PS1 Eternal Punishment. But when the PSP version got released we got the PSP remaster of Innocent Sin but not the PSP remaster of Eternal Punishment. Weird, huh?
It was my sister.
mostly a side story. This too particularly intrigued me. Strega really didn't get too much development in Persona 3 and seemed really shallow because of that. So a book focused on them seems like a good chance to see a bit more of them. Unfortunately, this too was also untranslated, but unlike our previous entry, a bit of it actually was translated, and you can find a
You know how much extra work that is? Why did Akihiko aim the gun at his head like that?
too much development in Persona 3 and seem really shallow because of that. So a book focused on them seems like a good chance to see a bit more of them.
That's so Pepega. Why the fuck he aimed the... Who the fuck... Why didn't you just... What the fuck is this? Who the fuck in the development team say, yo, this gonna look cool as fuck? That look dumb as shit. Who the... Persona. Like, that looks so dumb. Come on,
Unfortunately,
Akihiko.
this too was also untranslated, but unlike our previous entry, a bit of it actually was translated, and you can find a link to the first chapter on the Megaton wiki and in the description. I read a bit of it and it was actually pretty good. I'll probably read the rest of the chapter at some point. Seeing as this is the last novel entry on the Iceberg, I'd like to throw out there that there are actually a lot of Persona novels, most entirely untranslated, but these ones just seem particularly interesting, so we threw them on the Iceberg. Aegis: The First Mission. This is an old and obscure Japan-only mobile game, serving as an origin story for Aegis as she works with the Korijo group in Yakushima in 1999, 10 years before Persona 3. It has its own story with new characters who befriend Aegis, and it sets up why Aegis is the way she is.
No
kind
way.
and curious of human emotions. As far as I'm aware, it's currently impossible to play, but you can find gameplay of it on YouTube completely translated if you're interested.
Really?
Akechi's Palace. So originally, the Pancake Man himself, and also my nemesis, was going to have a palace, as indicated by leftover shadow dialogue, calling him Master, and other internal code. Akechi's palace would have been between Sai and Shido's palace, and apparently it also would have been a castle again, which on the surface would have been disappointing, though maybe they'd make it really unique. Who knows? Man in the Fog. This is the observation that the man in the fog that appears on the deadline date when you successfully save someone doesn't really make sense. Presumably it's supposed to be Adachi, the model even looks like his, but it really doesn't even make sense for it to be Adachi, and here's why. The day that you save someone, you usually have a chat with Dojima and oftentimes Adachi, who lets you know that the missing person has been found. If Adachi is aware that they've been found, why would he be waiting for them to show up on the telephone pole in the middle of the night, the
be
day
scary.
the fog finally rolls in?
Because you want to be
Depending
scary.
on how early you save them, he knows they've been saved for a while. And even if you complete the dungeon on the deadline, the day where the man in the fog will later show up, Adachi knows that you have saved them by that evening at the latest, since he either tells you himself or knows because he works with the station. So why would he be out at night expecting the body? Additionally, this foggy figure gets angry as more and more people are saved. Whereas we know Adachi actually took enjoyment in the fiasco, and wanted people to continue being saved, so Namatame would keep throwing people in, and continue drowning Inaba in chaos. So basically the man in the fog is just a kinda big plot hole. It's supposed to be Adachi, but really it doesn't make sense for it to be him. Some people have made theories that it's Izanami, or maybe some extra secret third entity that never got caught that was somehow involved with the murders too, but that's for you to decide. Traitor Haru. This is the theory that Haru actually betrays the Phantom Thieves.
No way.
And that she is the teammate who sold you out, probably alongside Akechi. The theory goes that upon her dad being killed, she sells them out as vengeance, believing they actually killed him.
Whoa.
She then plays along with the Phantom Thieves and continues to fool them by working with them. But then maybe regrets it and helps them out and keeps secret what she did. Haru has a dark and sadistic side that comes out when killing shadows. And so, she channels that energy as she sells you all out. Kind of a joke theory, but it's interesting to think about.
That'd have been a scary one.
Persona 2 Sumi, Lost Memories. This is an obscure Persona 2 mobile game that bridges the gap between Innocent Sin and Eternal Punishment, showing how the team was able to reset the timeline. It plays similarly to the actual games, and the story involves them facing and defeating their shadow selves, who do not want to forget the broken Innocent Sin reality, and it shows why Tatsuya kept his memories as well. Takaya is from the Velvet Room. This is a theory revolving around Takaya's mysterious appearance. He is one of few characters with bright yellow eyes, a feature mostly associated with shadow selves and Velvet Room attendants. He additionally has the platinum blondish or gray hair that the attendants have as well. Strega were the only survivors out of the dozens of child test subjects used by the Korijo group. So there is a theory that he was either a super young attendant, similar to the twins or Lavenza, that left like Elizabeth, or a Velvet Room affiliated person like Jose, sent out on a mission in the real world. He then got captured and vigorously experimented on by the Korijo group, and because of that, forgot his past life as a supernatural entity, becoming the older, cold, and empty Takaya that we meet.
Slim Jesus! Dark Beyond. I'm scared, Chad. I'm scared. I'm scared.
Every Persona game is a time warp.
Huh?
So remember how in a certain Persona game you get trapped on March 31st and can't proceed? This theory states that every game is like that. A time warp beginning on the first day and ending on the last, that the main character and everyone else involved gets trapped in. Only through successfully navigating through this time warp by achieving the true ending can time continue and warp begin. Otherwise you are reverted right back to the start, or shortly before your demise.
I found a Chihiro clip timestamp link. What the fuck is this?
What? Bro.
Oh my god, no way. You have this. You have the clip. You have the clip. I cannot believe this.
Oh, he said stay. What? Bro, he said stay loyal to Yuko. Talk to her softly. Hold her hand. Hell no, bro. We going all out, bro. Kiss her. Huh? Chihiro looks utterly shocked. Yo, this bitch is throwing mad mixed signals. So now she's mad at me because I went to go kiss her when she literally just admitted 10 seconds ago that she cannot contain herself. This, I finna, like, hello?
Yo.
He said, did you save? Yes, I saved. We aren't even officially dating, and you have the nerve to do that? Bitch! You just told me like 10 seconds ago that you finna jump on me and you're having dreams about me non-stop. And now I actually go up to you to give you that anime kiss that you've been looking for and you hit me up with that? How dare you? What kind of girl you think I am? Things are gradually getting worse. I'm just gonna talk to her softly. I'm just gonna go straight into her ear.
You're a useless bitch and no one would ever get with you.
Then I just walk away.
What the fuck?
Huh? Oh,
Nah, bro. This should have been an option, like slap her or something, because she was bugging out. I can't believe you have this clip. Damn. From 2019? 2019. Shit is old. My God. Bro, I'm not even subbed to you on this channel. Because my other account is the retro account. This is the new account. I have to fucking... Yo, I gotta upload. I gotta fucking upload, dude. I haven't uploaded in mad long. I've been doing TikTok shit and streaming. And I have barely been uploading. I literally have to start uploading. Oh my goodness.
To get another chance to do it right. This is why we get saves and whatnot, and are given the ability to revert to our last save, or revert time if we die. Makoto remembers Persona Q. So this one is something that I see almost nobody talk about, and sort of inspired me to make this in the first place. So at the end of Persona Q, everyone gets their memories wiped, right? Well, yes, but actually no. Unlike the P4 side, where Yu has a vision of Makoto before the game starts and then forgets by the end, if you play the P3 side, the game begins after the events of the game, with Makoto visiting the Velvet Room a couple days after the typhoon. Elizabeth welcomes him and says her master is away, and that she feels deja vu. She remembers that this has happened before, that Makoto visited while her master was away on the night of the typhoon a couple days ago, but she feels her memories of that was a bit hazy. She asks him if he remembers what happened, and Makoto tells her that he remembers the person he met, Narukami. Hearing Yu's name triggers Elizabeth's memories of everything, and it all comes back to her. Makoto asks her for more details, and then she tells her story, and we play the game. The entire game on the P3 side is Elizabeth recalling her story to Makoto, telling him everything. As she told him more, he probably remembered more and more. If he didn't remember through Elizabeth's story, then at the very least he remembers everything Elizabeth told him and can probably assume it's true, seeing as he remembered Narukami. At the end of the game, Elizabeth ends her story and doesn't mention wiping his memory again or anything before letting him go. So Makoto leaves the game remembering his friends from the investigation team to some extent, though he presumably decides to keep it a secret from the rest of C's. This has interesting repercussions that others have pointed out, depending on how much he remembers. Knowing that the investigation team were from the future in 2011, in his battle with Nyx in
2009, get that motherfucker off my bed now, bro. He's always on my bed.
2009, Makoto probably knew he had to give the fight his all in order to even allow them to live to see that year. And seeing the sacrifices of Zen and Rei probably further encouraged him. The big contradiction to this, though, is Q2, which we know at least for the Velvet Room attendants probably happens after. Makoto doesn't know the investigation team in this game. He could either be acting, or they could have been pulled into Q2 before Q1, meaning he wouldn't know them yet. Either way, the ending of Q1 is pretty clear in showing that Makoto remembers, which is really, really interesting. FemC ruined the other FemCs. So basically with this theory, assume there's two main Persona timelines. One where the recent main protagonists have been male, and one where they're female. The theory goes that due to the FemC route ending differently with Shinji being alive, it messed with the timeline so that Persona 4 as we know it never happened due to the butterfly effect. And so that's why there's no P4 FemC nor P5 FemC, as it sort of just dominoes and changes from there. FemC Yu and Ren are out there in the FemC timeline, but the butterfly effect made it so their adventure doesn't play out in the same way, or maybe they don't even happen at all. It tries to provide like a canon explanation as to why Atlas hasn't done a FemC again, which is neat, but of course this is just a theory. Atlas can make a FemC again if they want to, they just probably don't want to. All endings are canon. Throughout a lot of the more recent games with network features, during their explanations, they always mention how there are other, parallel Yus out there, each on their own journey similar to you. This theory uses that to say that every possibility is canon, as there are other Yus out there all doing the same thing and playing the same game, all making their own choices. Some where they fail at numerous points, some where they make some wrong decisions, and some where they reach the true ending and go on to further journeys, all also filled with their own infinite parallel possibilities. In this way, each ending is canon. It's just another one of you that reached a different end than you did. Persona 3 dancing Elizabeth is not Persona 3 Elizabeth. In Persona 3 Dancing, Zzz is pulled into the Velvet Club by Elizabeth, more than likely around January in their time. Presumably this is Elizabeth from Persona 3 around the same time, right? Well, there are actually plenty of hints that it's not. The intro and credits song talk about reunions, of not forgetting someone, of reminding someone that they are more than a memory. This is of course all referring to Makoto, and many speculate that it is Elizabeth singing these songs or that they're based around her perspective. On its own, this isn't too heavy evidence, but Elizabeth herself acts in a way that hints she is not from Persona 3, but from some time beyond, probably after Arena Ultimax, where Makoto is already long dead. Once you've unlocked Elizabeth in-game, she will join in to cheer during other people's dances, and she has a couple cheers towards Makoto talking about how it's great to see him again, that she loves their reunion, and other similar things. If Elizabeth was from Persona 3, then she would still be seeing Makoto fairly regularly, whenever he went to the room or went to hang out with her, so talking about a reunion seems sort of odd. Additionally, a couple of her social events are rather cryptic. In one of them, she stares at Makoto, as if it's been a while, as if she knows that he's already dead and that it's kind of like weird to see him again. And eventually she also warns him of a fate and tries to tell him to have a good time while he can. She also has an incredibly weird talk with Aigis and Makoto. Elizabeth tells Aigis that they're all dreaming, and Aigis asks if Elizabeth is helping Makoto in the real world right now outside of the dream. But Elizabeth dodges the question and explains that they may or may not share the same now. Elizabeth later says that they are both intriguing to her, holding endless possibilities, which may be hinting that she already knows Aigis too is a wild card, holding endless possibilities. Later, Elizabeth outright says that she has departed on her own journey to fulfill her wish, much like they have, and then immediately backtracks, worries she said too much. If that isn't clear enough evidence, then I really don't know what is. So, presumably, Persona 3 Dancing, besides being an argument between siblings, was also an excuse for Elizabeth to get to see Makoto again, which is really touching, but also incredibly depressing at the same time. Leave it to Persona 3 to make even a dancing game sad somehow. Persona Pantheon. The Persona universe is filled with deities that we've come across, each with their own twisted thoughts and goals, who at the end of each game we put a stop to somehow. Thinking about these deities more, though, brings up some interesting possibilities, and have been the basis for numerous theories. We've seen the powerful forces of good and evil acknowledge each other directly, but do the numerous other antagonistic entities we fought know about each other? What about the probably countless beings we've yet to fight? Being so powerful and knowledgeable, you'd think these numerous gods and beings that spring up to torture humanity must be aware of each other.
That's true. Because I was thinking, like, for example, people like Nyx, and then Yaldabaoth, and then Satanael, shit like that. Are they all conscious of each other? Or the fucking chalice that was in Mementos, the big ass cup, do they know about each other? Or are they just like, yo, so Monday I'm fucking everything up, alright? Just letting you know. Don't come to Shibuya on Monday. I'm fucking it up, right?
To some extent. And what if there is a pantheon, with some or all of them working together in order to control humanity, or destroy humanity, or whatever the hell they want to do?
Y'all, my
Maybe
left
there's multiple pantheons fighting for control. Order versus chaos. Who knows? I think it's intriguing to think about. If they wanted to, they could take the story of Persona in plenty of pretty weird and deep directions. But as it's going now, it's also perfectly fine too. Just some food for thought is all. FemC timeline doomed. This theory refers to how the FemC timeline may be doomed to destruction, and that it's all the fault of Theodore. We've met Theodore in many games, and he's a sort of clone of Elizabeth. Since their guests go through the same journey, then that must mean Theodore too probably does the same thing Elizabeth does.
So what happens?
Leaves the Velvet Room and goes on his own journey. Assuming they're moving at the same rate of time, as in Persona Q2, his guest and Elizabeth's guest meet from the same point in time, around September, that means by Arena Ultimax he should have probably gone on the same journey as Elizabeth as well. But looking at Arena Ultimax, however, this doesn't really seem to be the case, and this has some bad repercussions. Theodore is still doing absolutely nothing in the Velvet Room, and gets sent by Margaret to go on a dumb wild goose chase. He is curious of what Elizabeth is up to, but why? Shouldn't he have left to save FemC? Shouldn't he also be killing Erebus every year? Shouldn't he be doing pretty much the same thing she's doing right about now, just for FemC's timeline? He isn't though, which has led to some people to theorize that for one reason or another, maybe due to sheer incompetence, he doesn't go on the same journey as Elizabeth, which is very bad. because if he didn't leave and isn't killing Erebus every year, then FemC's world is doomed. Maybe FemC never gets her own version of the answer for some reason, or it ends badly, and Erebus breaks the seal and instigates the fall, destroying everything. And so Theodore never has a chance to get involved, and that's why he just hangs out in the Velvet Room with Margaret. If FemC does have the answer though, then why isn't he aware of what Elizabeth is doing? Since he should have helped FemC's Aegis know what's going on, and be doing the same thing for FemC's timeline. The fact that Theodore is still in the Velvet Room doing nothing is bad news for her world according to this theory. Though it could always be explained through some weird Velvet Room time travel shenanigans. Maybe Elizabeth and Theodore just don't go at the same rate of time. Who knows? Hopefully FemC's timeline is fine though. Either way, it's something really intriguing to think about. And that's it for the Iceberg. I hope you learned something new and enjoyed.
Not a bad Iceberg. It was good. It was fine. It was fine. It was fine. You said how deep does it go? I have no idea. You said intradasting? What does that even mean?